Welcome to the world of comfort. Please join us as we explore the process of turning raw hides to high-quality leather for shoes, clothing, and furniture. Refrigerated trucks deliver fresh rawhides from the slaughterhouse directly to the tannery no more than 48 hours after skinning. In order to maintain freshness and quality, the rawhides receive additional cooling by ice pack. Continuous observation of temperature is required. Rock salt may also be used as a preservative for extended storage. Dehairing takes place in large oak barrels and requires the hides to soak up to 10 hours in a chemical solution. As many as 400 hides may be processed at one time. Individual hides weigh up to 120 pounds. Remaining fat and muscle tissue is sliced from the backside of the hide. The hides are then placed on a conveyor belt and run through the splitting machine. During this process, the raw hides, roughly 5 millimeters in thickness, are split into two qualities. The top side is used for our high-quality leathers. The split is used for cheaper leather products. Once split, the top grain is inspected for thickness. The tanning process transforms rawhides into durable leather. A non-toxic chromium solution is mixed and monitored by computers. This tanning process requires 10 to 12 hours, and when completed, the hide is called a wet blue. Wastewater is processed to remove remaining chromium so it is safe to return to the local watershed. Here you see a typical wastewater facility. The wet blues are run through a press to remove remaining chromium, which is what gives the hides their blue color. Moisture is also removed, however not completely. Remaining moisture allows for consistent coloring. This is actually the first time a tannery sees the hides it has bought. Up until now, natural markings and imperfections have been hidden by hair and body tissue. This is why the wet blues are rigorously inspected by highly qualified and experienced personnel to sort them into various grades. The dyeing process takes place in stainless steel barrels. This also acts as a second tanning process in which fats are added to soften the leather. The hides absorb all coloring, leaving behind only water. This process takes about half an hour. The hides are then removed for drying. The wet hides are stretched across special frames to keep them flat. These frames are then placed in hot air dryers for roughly 4 hours. The leather is now called a crust. The very best crusts become anilines. These crusts have very few marks or imperfections. Only 5% of all crusts qualify as anilines. All other crusts require pigmenting to remove marks and imperfections. The crusts are flattened on a conveyor belt and run through a series of pigmentation booths. Each booth features rotating airbrushes. A computer controls the ratio of pigmentation applied to the crust. All colors applied are water-based. The hides are then placed in milling barrels to soften and expose the leather's natural grain. This entire process is computer controlled. Hides with many imperfections are sanded across the surface and embossed, a process which permanently presses a natural-looking grain pattern into the leather. Reasons for this include better pricing, consistent grain structure, and easier care. Embossing is done by applying high pressure and heat. Every hide is then inspected again and trimmed to size. Each hide is compared against a master dye lot sample under a series of lights to ensure consistent coloring. Hide samples are then tested for color fastness and compared against a gray scale. Here, the flexibility of pigmented leathers is being tested. The leather is also tested for fading for 48 hours under a high-powered light. The last process runs each hide through an electronic measuring machine. The hides are then stamped with the appropriate measurement. This concludes our tour of fine leather production. We hope to see you in the world of comfort by W. Schillig soon.